The Jose Show.
And welcome to another exciting episode of The Jose Show. I am your host, Jose Roldan Jr. And today we have a very special guest with us. He is an actor, and he is a co-owner of several things. One of them is Wall&Bickham Entertainment, and he did the acting in the movie Enterfear, which is actually pretty doggone good for just a little over hour movie. I want to introduce to everybody Hunter Bickham. How are you doing, Hunter?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's beautiful, sunny here in Florida, and it's kind of hot out. This summer's been really hot. How has it been in your area?
Man, I'm in South Mississippi. It's raining outside right now. It's been raining. It seems like it's been raining for the past month and a half, but we've had a little bit of sunshine, and yeah, it's hot. It's getting hotter and hotter as each summer goes on. So
I heard that it's been so dry here that as you're walking on the grass, you could hear it crunch. So
yeah.
Thank goodness the last couple of days we've had some rain and the grass has kind of perked up a little bit. So that's a good thing because definitely you don't want to start a fire because it's going to spread like wildfire.
No doubt.
So I'm trying to remember. Oh, okay. So I know how I ran across your company that you co-own with Tim Wall. I was in the Christian Filmmakers Facebook group, and he had posted something, and I had contacted him to try to get an interview, and due to personal reasons, he could not be here today, and I didn't know that you guys had did a film called Enterfear, and I don't know if you're filming part 2 now, the next wave, or is that still in like the drawing stages, so to speak?
Right. Yeah, we're in pre-production right now for Enterfear 2, the next wave. The first Enterfear was, we work at a television station. Tim owns the station. I'm the production manager. It's WGUD Television, just a local station here in South Mississippi. And we got slow during the coronavirus pandemic. Yeah. And we didn't really have much going on. So me and Tim were like, let's just go ahead and we've always talked about making a movie. We've just never had time. Let's just go ahead and do it. And it started off as a 15, 20-minute short kind of Twilight Zone-y type idea, and it just snowballed into this over hour-long effort. So we had a lot of people from the community. We had the sheriff of Jackson County in it. He played the mayor. We had the superintendent of the school district. I mean, we just had a good time doing it, man. So anyway, so since that point in time, going into Enterfear 2, we got the bug. We got our feet wet, and we're rolling, man. We want to keep on going.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Now, we'll talk about the movie here in a little bit. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Now, what did you do before you got how did you end up meeting Tim, or were you friends forever, during middle school, high school? How did you guys meet?
We weren't. We met through a friend of mine, actually, who I was actually doing an electrical apprenticeship, just electrical helper work. And I was doing some community work for a church, and I'd expressed my interest in filmmaking, something I've had since I was a kid, just loving film and being involved in it. And they suggested to go talk to Tim Wall. And so I came to the TV station a couple times. He wasn't here, finally got in touch with him. And he told me that, the only thing that they really had going at that point in time was help filming the football games.
Mm-hmm.
So I started filming the football games with him. We struck up a friendship, and he asked me one day if I wanted to come work full-time at the TV station.
Wow.
And that was 7 years ago, and, here we are to this day.
So let me ask the question. When I was watching Enterfear, the building, the little brick building that looked like it was downtown, is that the offices for the TV station?
You mean I'm trying to think of where you're talking about, where they were on the steps. They're like the courthouse steps, or?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. It was it looked like it was like a 3 or 4 story building. It looked brick looking, like a reddish looking. You would think, I just seen it last night. And the guy, I wrote his name down and it's on my phone. The guy that was doing that had the T-shirt that looked Hawaiian. It was in my notes. Let's see. I just wrote his name down. That's crazy. Anyway,
If it was a three-story brick, that's not the studio specifically, but where he was at when he was Philip Drake is the guy he played Frank.
yes,
My
Philip Drake.
friend in the movie, and he was actually in the studio, but the outside shots were all in downtown Pascagoula. So it was different places like a courthouse, steps, and a place called Scranton's Restaurant.
Okay. Now the little white building with the transmitting tower. That's where the TV station transmits from.
You there?
Yeah.
I think I lost you for a second.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
still here.
Okay, I can hear you. Yeah. I lost you for a second. You were frozen in time.
Oh no, that's fine. So the transmitting tower that little white building there with the tower and the satellite dish.
Right, right. Yeah, that's our WGUD tower site. So it's up kind of in the swampy areas, and
Looks like
it's
it.
always been kind of creepy. So it's all we always thought, man, it'd be cool to do something out here, because it's off the beaten path a little bit. And
It looks like it.
You could step off probably about 10 or 15 yards, and you'll be in some alligator infested swamp area. So it's pretty cool.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. We got a lot of swamp area here in Florida. At least not in my area. I live in Zephyr Hills. Now, I actually subscribed to Faithflix that Tim had posted on the Facebook group, and I've seen one movie. I don't have a lot of time to watch movies because with doing podcasting and working and taking care of my dad's stuff, there's not a lot of time to watch movies. Right. Now, and then you also have Fearflix. So what was it like setting up both of these two different channels, one Faith and one Fear? What's involved in doing this, and how do you get the content to put on both of these channels?
Okay. Well, we'll start with Fearflix because that's where it started. We got the name. We had found out how to develop Roku channels a while back. We did one for WGUD television. And then we saw we actually do a show called After Hour Cinema, and the host, his name's Lee Turner.
Mm-hmm.
He's an attorney in a little bit north of here in Mississippi. But it's sort of like a Svengoolie type horror host show, but
yes.
He's pretty straight laced. He just wears a suit and he introduces. He knows a lot about horror movies. He's like a horror historian. So, anyways, we do that show, and Lee knows a lot of people in the horror host community and a lot of people who are in the independent horror filmmaking community too. Mm-hmm. So we wanted to make a platform for some of these horror hosts and also for some of these independent horror filmmakers that they can put their stuff on there. And, we've seen a lot of Roku channels there's a lot of horror-based Roku channels out there, but
yes, we
wanted to have just a clean one that will have the public domain movies on there, but also will have some stuff. We got some wave movies from the 90s. We've got some just some stuff that people haven't seen in a long time, and also some stuff that people made at a good effort, because I've got respect for anybody who puts a film out there in the first place. Yeah. Regardless, people can critique it, but if you put a movie together, then I respect that. And there's a lot of people who have put their blood, sweat, and tears in a film, and it's maybe back in 2012 or 13, and it just kind of fell by the wayside. And so we just give them that platform to be able to maybe get a new audience for it, or to get more people to draw an eyes to it. So that's where Fearflix was at. And it's, it also has turned into this effort to help. It's $6.99 a year for Fearflix. And
it's not bad.
We realized that we could, right. It's not bad at all. And we're constantly putting new content on there too. But we realized that these platforms, these Roku channels, can also help fund our efforts at Wall&Bickham, so we can start doing more movies. And that was what the goal ended up being, was if we can make this and then it could help put some money in the production company's pockets, then we can get by and make some movies out of these Roku channels, because they can kind of just sit there and collect, and we'll just update them here and there. And so anyways, that's what Fearflix is. Lee's had some people who were in the horror community that we've gotten to host a few shows, original shows on there. And like I said, it's really cool. I got to give Tim all the credit for it. It's got like an animated background. It's unlike a Roku channel you would normally see, because I don't think I've seen a Roku channel that's had, it's real kind of interactive,
clean
looking. it's got like these, like I said, this animated background with this kind of music, creepy music. So while you're even scrolling through your movies, it's almost like you're in the haunted mansion at the at Disney World or something,
Yeah, it's
But
kind of creepy because I checked it out.
yeah, yeah. So, and anyways, with Faith Flicks, kind of the other end of the spectrum there, but there's still a we know that there was another need, which is faith-based programming, family programming, just kind of inspirational stories and things like that. And Tim saw there was a need for it and saw that people were kind of wanting that and something that could be an alternative to Pure Flix, something that
Yes.
could be cheaper and more affordable, and also that could give people who like with the Fear Flix, these indie filmmakers, a platform as well too. So that's where Faithflix came from. He licensed a lot of the movies, as opposed to Fearflix. Faithflix has a lot of big production, PureFlix type that you would see on the bigger uh, platform movies on
Hmm.
there. So, and that's $12.99 a year, and it's doing pretty good.
That's
And
good.
that's what we're trying to, because Tim and I are both we're both strong in our faith as well. So that's kind of it's kind of a good platform, and he's a family man too. So he
That's
wants
good.
to just we want to be able to delve off into other things too. Especially we've had some ideas for doing some faith-based films and working with people in that community as well. So that's kind of where we're at. The polar opposite ends of the Roku channel spectrum, but
Yeah.
it's all out of just enjoyment for films
Yeah.
and passion for filmmaking too. So
I had looked into doing a Roku channel, and man, I don't have the time, and it's a little bit of money that you have to invest, and
right,
I right now I have neither because I do this podcast out of love, basically. I actually have two podcasts, which the other one right now is on hiatus because I just haven't had time to do it, and it does take money, and it'd be nice if somebody would throw me a few bills here and there, but I know it's a lot of work, and I had PureFlix, and I let it go because there was a show, I can't remember the name, but it was the guy that was riding a big bike. He was like a biker dude. He was in the what's that Marvel Cinematic movie, Deadpool, and like they just almost stopped like making episodes, and I really liked it. I think a lot of people are looking for more faith based nowadays. With some of the movies you see, um, they're not fit to watch. I mean, some of the nudity, um, uh, obviously the cursing is so bad that I'll take for instance, I was watching a movie the other day and I actually stopped it. And I'm not going to name the movie and name the platform that it was on, but they said the four-letter word. If I had to guess, within 10 minutes, man, it was probably 30 or 40 times. And I can let it slide once or twice, but when it's that many, it's like, you know what? Obviously, it's garbage. I don't need to see this. And I congratulate both of you for taking the time to come up with these ideas, these platforms for these indie filmmakers, and yourself for making these films. Because I know it takes time to write the story, to get the actors, the budget, and all that stuff. It's not like you can just do it in a day. You got to plan for it, and I commend you guys for doing that. And hopefully, as time goes on, more of the indie filmmakers put more films on both of your platforms, and then it'll grow, and then next thing you know, you guys can do more movies for the TV station. So that's a great thing that you guys have done.
yeah, I appreciate that.
Hey, no problem. Now, when I was talking to Tim yesterday, he's like, I told him I was going to get ready to watch Enterfear, and he's like, well, don't be too harsh to local actors. And, going into watching, they have like the Asylum and Trauma films. They're kind of like, they're not like Hollywood blockbusters, so to speak, but they're actually enjoyable. And Enterfear literally kept me on the edge of my seat. I had to watch it with my headphones on, and because my wife was sleeping and my stepdaughter was in the living room playing the Switch. And I'm telling you, man, you, Hunter, you are a natural born actor. Some of these indie films, it almost looks like the people are reading something. I mean, you had it in your head. You knew what you had to say. You put it out there, and dude, That's awesome. I mean, you did a great job.
Man, I appreciate that. I've been, I guess, doing stuff like this since I was a kid. So it's at first I wasn't excited about the idea of it, but
Hmm.
you know how everybody talks about they get the acting bug. Now that we've done it, I'm like, man, I want to do. I've been contacting people on the coast to try to get into more roles and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed it. But yeah, I appreciate that, man.
You're welcome.
That's a great
Now,
compliment.
if you ever do another movie and you need a podcaster, hey, I've always wanted to be in one. I've only been in a film short, and that was for Pasco Films back in 2012. That was shown at the Alamo Draft House in Texas, and I
Yeah.
was on screen for maybe 30 seconds. So I'm free.
Yeah. Oh, definitely, man. We always try to find a way. That's like with Interfere One. We were always just trying to find a way to get people that we know, people that are friends of ours in the community and stuff like that into the movie. Like we would write specific parts into the movie just to, like I would leave and come back to work over the weekend, and then I come back in and Tim would be like, "I got the sheriff to be in the movie." I'm like, "Oh, cool. Yeah. We don't have a part with the sheriff." He goes, "Oh no, he's gonna play a mayor." I'm like, "Well, we don't have a part with the mayor." He goes, "I know, but I wrote it in." So he would just write in these parts for all of our friends. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, man.
That's pretty
What do
cool
you
having
think,
the
man?
sheriff play the mayor.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, just let me know. And that's that's why I like doing the podcasting because I have met a lot of people that otherwise I never would have met. And when I first started this podcast, they're like, what's your topic? Because you got some people do just sports and some people just do movies. Okay, so I like to talk a lot. I
Hmm.
can't talk about one thing. So I interview actors. I interview just normal people. I like to know what people do. I don't care if you're a janitor or a meat preparer at a store.
Right.
The problem with people, they perish because they don't have the knowledge. A lot of times, knowledge is power. So the more you know, the better off you're going to be. And
Hmm.
that's why I like to talk to people. And I've talked to people from Australia. I'll talk to people. When I did the Australia one, I had to get up way early in the morning because of the time difference. But it's really a fun job. Oh, that's my dog making noise. And with that, we're going to go ahead and take our first commercial break. You're listening to the Jose Show on Turfs Up Radio. I'm your host, Jose Roldan Jr.
From the East Coast to the West
Hold on.
Coast and around the world, no one rocks like Turfs Up Radio. Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station.
I know I shouldn't have let him in here. Give me 1 second because I can edit this out.
Okay.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Jose Show on Turfs Up Radio. We're talking to actor Hunter Bickham and about his movie that he was in, and he was the assistant director, Enterfear. Okay, so I jotted down a few notes as I was watching this movie. Now, Annabelle, is that your dog?
Yeah, her name's actually Mary Bell. That's my dad's dog.
Okay, cute dog. I love
Yeah.
dogs. Obviously, I got two of them. Actually, I have three of them. Okay,
Yeah,
so
she's cool, and she eats more than I've ever seen a dog in my entire life. If she could sit there and eat, she would literally eat herself to death. She's just constantly eating. But anyway, so it was pretty easy to get her as long as we had food there. It was easy to get her corralled in to do some stuff. So
it's like my dogs. You give them food, and then once they're done eating, they're like, "Hello, can I have some more food?" And
mhm.
like even our cats do the same thing. Now, I one thing I really liked is obviously you guys used drones for some of the scenes that were, when you saw above. Actually, man, that was pretty awesome. Some of those scenes that you guys did. Uh, like, how do you do stuff like that? Because I've never had a drone. Now, when you do a drone scene, does it record audio as well, or are you able to mute that? Or
yeah, with the drone that we have, it doesn't record audio,
hmm
but in post Tim and I, we put a lot of our sound effects in, even stuff like the wind and everything else. So we create the soundscape if we use a drone shot, or it has just some background music or something like that. But
Oh, that's pretty cool. Now, is the actual transmitting tower literally by a cemetery?
sort of, the cemetery is probably, yeah. I mean, you could say it is, but it's not as close as it was. Tim did all that in post, where he actually inserted the tower by the cemetery, so it looked like it was closer than it is. It's really probably about maybe a mile to a half a mile down the road, but it's not the way he set that shot up, because you could see the river in the background and stuff.
Yes.
So he just inserted a tower there, so it would make it look more, it would, because the shot was good in itself. It just needed the tower in it, but there was no way to get that shot with the tower in it. So that was all done in post. Tim did a lot of on a micro budget. He did a lot of effects in this movie, and he's put a lot of hours into this movie. I got to hand it to him, because like you said, you see it. I mean, it literally is a micro budget movie. We probably put about maybe close to $2,500 into the film itself.
Wow.
Which it helps, because we're at the TV station. We have the equipment, we have the means, to a degree. We have, the cameras, tripods, the audio equipment and stuff like that. But still, and then of course our actors volunteered their time. But on a micro budget, for as much time as he put into it, that I would come here, he'd be here till 2-3 o'clock in the morning some nights, working on it. So if
now,
you watch it, you appreciate, especially if you've done films and stuff before, or if you've in any capacity edited.
Yeah.
If you watch Enterfear, then I think that you would have an appreciation for it in some way, shape, or form, because you see the kind of the work that went into it.
Yeah, I've done some minor editing before, back when I was younger, and it's people don't understand editing for a movie and editing for a podcast are two totally different things. I can edit for a podcast, and it's actually pretty easy. A movie, it takes a lot more effort, and I mean, it can be hard at times. Just trying to get the scene right, everything synced.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I saw that tower there by the cemetery, I'm like, dude, that is kind of creepy. Like,
Yeah.
I used to live across the road from the cemetery, and at night when I looked out there, man, I always could have swore I saw something out there. So I'd be like, oh my goodness, man, I can't stand this. And so, that's why I'm not crazy about living near a cemetery. But
Yeah.
now I notice in the background now you're inside the studio, so you got a green screen and you got a camera. And so is this where you do like your local filming, like for any type of meetings?
Yeah, this is I kind of give you a little view here. As you can see, we have a whole over here. We got a whole green screen setup to where it's the green screen wall, the green screen floor,
Yeah.
the green screen stage right there. So that's where we shoot a lot of we shoot after hour cinema that I was telling you about right there.
Okay, cool.
Actually, we set Lee up like he's in a castle. So it looks like he's in a castle, but it's our green screen. And then we have over here, we do a show called Spotlight Gulf Coast with a guy named Todd Trenchard and a girl named Courtney Anderson. And they're with the Bacon McCarty Foundation. And so they interview community leaders, people who have nonprofits, stuff like that. And then over here, we got another set, which is for Singing River Services, which is it's a mental health organization. So they do kind of awareness-based stuff. Dr.
That's
Sherman
cool.
Blackwell, who was actually in the movie, he was at the beginning. They had the guy who was interviewing the UFO specialist guy.
Yeah.
So, anyways, he's a psychiatrist, and he does a kind of like a mental health based talk show. And those are three of our main shows we do at WGUD, our long ongoing shows. And then outside of the studio, we do high school football.
Oh, wow.
Every year. Yeah, that's our bread and butter. Tim's been doing high school football for, I think, over 12 years, maybe. And we're able to live stream it now.
That's
and
cool.
Also, we are able to air it on WGUD television too. So.
Oh man, I tell you, you guys got it going.
Yeah, we got a lot going, and we did some other things in the past. We've done a cooking show. We did a show called Cook with Brooke for a while that was pretty popular with Brooke Lewis from the Shed Barbecue over here in Goshen, Mississippi, and she would go to different restaurants along the coast. And then we did another show called Open House with Summer Davis, who was a real estate agent on the coast, and she would go around to different houses that were for sale and show them off. So we've always been able to kind of being it's a kind of a small operation here, but we've always been able to be kind of creative. So if we have a show idea, or if someone comes to us with something, we usually have the means to be able to make it happen to a degree. You know what I mean?
Wow, you guys got a lot of projects going on. That's pretty good. It keeps you busy and makes the day go by faster.
Yeah, definitely.
So
They seem to be running together at some point.
I thought Mrs. Peabody, I thought she was actually pretty funny, especially when you went back to get the laptop at your house and she hit the freaking zombie with a frying pan. It's like, wow, bam.
Yeah.
That was cool. Now, how did you come up with the idea to use the remote the way you did? I don't want to give it away too much.
Yeah. Well, that was Tim. A lot of we developed the main idea together, but a lot of it was Tim. He had this idea in his head, and then he would just kind of obsess over certain parts of it. We would have to figure things out. So a lot of times we would break for the weekend or something, and I would go back to my house, and he would text me. Like, he texted me one night on Saturday night. He's like, "Remote. That's how you're gonna stop them. A remote." And I'm like, "What?"
Bling,
So,
bling.
but I got to give him credit for all those creative ideas. But yeah, he just come up with it, man, and it was perfect. It just rid in perfectly to the kind of world that we had created.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it kind of reminded me of the movie Click. Remember with Adam Sandler?
I love that movie. Yeah,
it's a good movie, but man, I tell you, he fast forwarded too far, and not a good thing. Not a good thing.
Right. It was sad, man. That movie was pretty sad to me.
Now, I thought the cops were actually pretty funny, especially when they pulled you over and it's like, "Hey, do you mind if I date your ex-wife?" And you're like, "Go right ahead." I like that. It's like, you can have the problem. I don't need the problem anymore.
Yeah. A lot of people can relate to that, unfortunately.
Yeah. And then the cops and their donuts. That was a classic scene. I don't know what it is about cops and donuts.
Yeah, that old little thing that we had to throw in there is a little because we had a lot of actual sheriff's deputies that were on the set that were doing stuff. Like I said, Mikey Zell played the mayor, so we actually gave a little plug to Anderson's Bakery, which is a real bakery in Pascagoula, and that's where the donuts came from. So
cool, free advertisement.
Right, we had to pick with them a little bit. So
now,
like every place in there, like Scranton's restaurant, all those places like that, like when they started feeling the table shake and stuff, those are all actual clients of ours. People that advertise with us on WGUD television. So we were giving them extra advertisement to be in the movie too. So
hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Shoot, it's like free advertisement. Now,
absolutely.
To date, how many times now that it's on? I can't talk. Now that the movie's on Prime, Amazon, and on WGUD, and also Fearflix, how many times has it been watched? Are you able to tell that, or?
I can't. Man, Tim had those numbers, but I know that at one point it was over the 100,000 range. So
wow,
which was really impressive. But I just don't know cumulatively about all of them gathered together. I'm not sure. So that would be something that I do know at one point it was over 100,000. So
wow, 100,000 is pretty good.
Yeah.
And with that, we're going to go ahead and take our second commercial break. You're listening to The Jose Show, and you won't be hearing my dog barking.
Hey, Turfs Up Radio fans, do you know what time it is? That's right, it's time for Turfs Up Radio. Now you can catch us streaming live 24/7 with pro talk, pro tips, and pro interviews. Simply visit turfsupradio.com.
And we're back. You're listening to The Jose Show on Turfs Up Radio. I'm your host, Jose Roldan Jr., and you're listening to us. I can't even talk. I'm talking with Hunter Bickham from Wall&Bickham Entertainment, and we're going to go ahead and finish up with the podcast. First of all, I want to thank you for being on the show, and before I let you go, do you have any final thoughts of anybody that wants to get into this type of industry, any type of advice, and then go ahead and plug the social medias and the movie? And, one thing I forgot to talk about before you do that. You're going to be having Jeremy London in Enterfear 2, The Next Wave. What was it like getting him in the movie? Like, how did you get him?
Man, Tim was actually friends with him on Facebook. He's been in the region. We've seen him doing some stuff, and he just messaged him, and he's been a huge help, man. I haven't got to meet him or talk with him personally, but I know that he's been a huge help to us. He's been real supportive, and we're really excited to have him, man. Like, we didn't think that we would have been from our first movie to our second movie having somebody like Jeremy London in there. So it's a blessing for us, man. We're really excited to have him.
Well, he played Chandler Hampton in Seventh Heaven. That's where I seen him from. So
right.
That's going to be cool.
I don't know if you remember that one.
Which one?
Mallrats.
I think I've seen that, but that's been a long time ago.
Yeah, had Ben Affleck in it, and
I'm getting
old.
old.
Like a 90s style, you know.
Hey, hopefully you guys do something with the clowns. I thought the clowns were pretty neat too. Clowns can be fun and they can be creepy as well.
Yeah, well, we got some ideas for the clowns too. So.
Oh, that's cool. Well, go ahead and share any thoughts and comments that you have, and any type of advice, and your social medias.
Okay. Well, I'll start with for us with this movie, and for what I've done for quite some time is there's always a lot of, I guess, talk, and my advice would be, doesn't matter the equipment or whatever it is, just do it. You know, if you got an idea and you've got a script or you've got whatever it is, just do it and find the others. There's other people out there that are probably just as willing to be involved in some way, shape, or form, and find those people who share the common interest with you. Because ultimately, like with a film, it takes a team. I mean, you can do it yourself, but it's good to have people who have their strengths, who have maybe the writing, the editing, whatever it is. And if you're looking to make a film, just find that group, find those people, and just do it. You know, don't set your limitations. Don't worry about what other people think about it. Just make it for what makes you happy, and maybe just for that one other person that is gonna share your vision or share your whatever it is that you're trying to get across. So
Makes
that
sense.
would be my advice. You know, I know with Tim, I know with me personally, there'd been a long time of, you know, talking it and just never really making it happen, and Tim as well. And then finally we were just like, you know, we got to put it out there and just to do something. And once we finally did it, now it's, we can put that behind us and move on and keep growing for each movie. So that would be my advice. And as far as social media is concerned, you know, we've got Wall&Bickham Entertainment on Facebook. We've got a Fearflix page on Facebook, Faithflix page on Facebook. On our Roku channels, they're Fearflix. You can search it on Roku. It's $6.99 a year. And then there's Faithflix. It's $12.99 a year. You get a lot of, just the movies alone that you would see on Faithflix too. Just renting them would add up. The first three would add up to $12.99. So
yeah, it's a deal.
That's where you find us, and that's how you can support us. And you know, I'm pretty sure there's email links on any one of those sites. You can get in touch with us somehow. And yeah, man, appreciate you having me on the show, and I appreciate everybody out there who wants to subscribe and download any of our channels, and you know, wants to watch Enterfear. Check it out. It's Enterfear, Enterfear, and it's on Amazon. So
yeah, they got to watch it. It's really good.
Yeah. Tell us what you think.
And if anybody would like to contact me, and nobody has yet, out of almost 60 episodes, you can find me on Twitter at Jose Roldan Jr. That's at JoseRoldan Jr. On Instagram, I am the Jose Roldan. That's TheJoseRoldan. ROLDAN. And on Facebook, believe it or not, I have I have a page. Just do a search for the Jose Show. And I also have a group. I have like 7 people in the group. So if you'd like to join, I'd greatly appreciate it. It's like I said, doing these podcasts is something of love of mine that I've wanted to do for years. And of course, during the pandemic, I had nothing to do. So, what the heck? Thought I'd start it out. Once again, I'd like to thank our special guest, Hunter Bickham, for being on the show. And, it's been great having you on the show. And hopefully we can do this again when Enterfear 2, The Next Wave, comes out. And, maybe we can collaborate with some of the other actors on there. It'd be nice to kind of do an interview with 2 or 3 of you guys together, or ladies. I call ladies guys as well. I appreciate you being on the show, and everybody remind everyone to share this episode with your friends, families, and your enemies, and be sure to check out Enterfear on Amazon Prime. You're listening to The Jose Show.
Thanks for listening to The Jose Show. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. And see you next time on The Jose Show.